Good morning and happy Memorial Day. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. Developing right now on Morning News Now, Mother Nature carving a path of destruction as severe weather sweeps through the central U.S. This morning, we're tracking more storms as the threat moves east. This, of course, comes as millions of Americans make their way home as the busy Memorial Day weekend comes to a close.
I think it's pretty packed for 5 a.m. Yeah.
People want to get out, have a good time, and finally get out to visiting family.
And more flying fears as we learn about another turbulent flight that left a dozen people injured. Also, a critical week unfolding for Donald Trump, closing arguments set to begin tomorrow in his historic criminal hush money trial. And on the campaign trail, President Biden taking aim at former President Trump. We'll have the latest. Plus, the challenge of childcare. Military families forced to give up their life of service as they struggle to find care for their children. More on the issue and the implications. And officials sounding the alarm about a shortage of lifeguards ahead of the busy summer swim season. More on the problem that's making waves from community pools to popular beaches. We're going to begin this hour with that round of violent storms that rattled the South and Great Plains this Memorial Day weekend, killing at least 19 people. This gas station we're going to show you in Valley View, Texas, it took a direct hit from a tornado. Dozens of drivers had abandoned their cars and took shelter there as the twister bore down on the area. Moments later, the tornado slammed into the gas station, destroying it. Kentucky is under a state of emergency also after storms tore through the state. Hundreds of thousands of residents reported having no power over the weekend. That same severe storm moved through Missouri, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and hail. Wind gusts reached up to 70 and even 80 miles per hour throughout the day on Sunday. The Indianapolis 500 also felt the effects of the storm. Severe weather delayed the start of the race by 4 hours as fans were asked to evacuate and take shelter. We'll tell you where the storms are headed next and how that could impact your trip home if you're traveling this holiday weekend. Let's start, though, with NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson. She is in hard-hit Valley View, Texas, with a look at the damage.
Well, the devastation all around is just heartbreaking. You look at this car and the windows are completely blown out. It was actually tossed from this gas station parking lot where there were about 125 people sheltering when this tornado bore down, tearing off the roof of this building. Miraculously, all of those people survived, but many of them, as are people across this area, waking up in shock and just grateful to be alive.
There's a tornado right there. Oh, there it is. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Dozens of tornadoes touching down across the South this Memorial Day weekend, flattening buildings like this gas station in Texas. Heart-stopping new video showing the moment an EF2 tornado ripped through. It's okay. It's okay. 125 people were seeking shelter inside. Incredibly, residents say no one was seriously injured.
It was crazy. It was loud.
Multiple states, including Oklahoma and Arkansas, reeling from the wild weather.
Boom! Like we got hit by lightning or something. That's the worst I've ever experienced.
The powerful storms brought golf ball-sized hail and took out trees and power lines.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's just heartbreaking.
Monica Vasquez, her husband, and 5 children took shelter in a closet as a tornado tore through their Valley View, Texas neighborhood. The roof was completely ripped off their home.
What was going through your mind?
I don't want to die.
The National Weather Service says more than 400 reported tornadoes have slammed the country this month alone, the most since 2019. And forecasters predict more treacherous weather ahead, a very dark cloud hanging over the unofficial start of summer.
And there are still about 500,000 people without power throughout the South and the Midwest as these storms are still on the move. Back to you.
All right, Priscilla, thank you so much. Well, now let's get a check on where those storms are headed next and take a look at your forecast for the week ahead with Michelle Grossman with us this morning. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Savannah. Well, we're looking at the East Coast today. That's going to be from New England, Great Lakes, all the way down to the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, along the Gulf Coast, too. Could see a couple storms. We're not looking at storms like we saw over the weekend, but still impactful with really heavy rain. Could see a few tornadoes, damaging winds, and also some hail. So that holiday washout, you could see even some heavy rain is expected, 4 or 5 inches in some spots. So be careful if you're out on the roads. If you have picnics planned or parades, you want to stay weather weather aware. Back to the Midwest, we're looking at some spotty showers into the northern plains as well. Then another really big weather story today will be some really toasty conditions in the south. We're looking at temperatures 5, even 15 degrees above normal into the triple digits for many. So if you're going to be outdoors for a while, you want to get to shade, stay under a tree, stay near a fan if you can, or just maybe spend a little bit more time indoors from time to time. Back to the west, we're looking really good. Nice and dry from pretty much the central plains all the way back to the west. It's the east coast, though, that we're going to see the wicked weather as we go throughout the day. Now, by Wednesday, the storms return into the southern plains. Could see some heavy rains with that as well to the Intermountain West, too. Higher elevation snow still falling in the month of May. Sudden clouds throughout the Midwest into the Great Lakes. And then we're looking at soggy conditions once again on Wednesday for parts of New England into the mid-Atlantic, also the Northeast. Not expecting heavy rain or storms there, but kind of a wet day on Wednesday. Could see a few showers, too, in Florida. Then as we near Friday, more rain in the middle of the country. Some of it could be heavy, especially in the central and southern plains. Plenty of sunshine in the west. We're looking at some Intermountain West snow once again. And looking sunny and seasonal throughout the Midwest, also the Northeast, some rain falling in the state of Florida. So this is what it looks like on radar right now. We're looking at heavy rain falling, some storms, not so much like we saw past couple of hours. That's kind of died down a bit, but we're going to see these storms reignite as we get that daytime heating going. Still seeing, though, some lightning throughout portions of the Gulf Coast into the southeast. Atlanta, you're seeing some heavy storms right now. Also looking at that heavy rain with all those colors. Savannah, it's due to this cold front that's moving through some really warm, humid air, and that's why we're concerned more for more storms throughout the day. Again, could see some pretty gusty thunderstorms.
All right. Well, we had beautiful weather for the past couple of days in this area, so
nice.
That's all right. All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, this year is the busiest Memorial Day travel weekend in 20 years, with airlines and TSA seeing a record-setting spike in passengers. NBC News correspondent Priya Shrithar is at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with the latest. Hey, Priya, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. As the unofficial kickoff to the summer holiday season weekend comes to a close, many are prepping their return trips home ahead of those storms that are rolling through the Midwest, the Plains, and the Mid-South. But despite that, millions of Americans wouldn't let anything get in their way.
This morning, a record-setting holiday weekend for air travel.
I think it's pretty packed for 5 a.m., yeah.
With the TSA screening nearly 3 million passengers nationwide on Friday, breaking the agency's record for most travelers passing through security checkpoints in a single day. The previous high set last year, just a few days after Thanksgiving.
People want to get out, have a good time, and finally get out to visiting family like they did, 5-10 years ago, well before COVID.
In total, more than 18 million passengers and crew screened from Thursday to Sunday. Though the vast majority of the nearly 44 million AAA forecasted to travel this weekend did so by car in what's believed to be the busiest Memorial Day weekend in 20 years. The national average price of gas, $3.59 a gallon, down about 6 cents from last month and around the same price travelers paid last Memorial Day. And while the American Skyways have led to relatively few cancellations this holiday weekend, overseas, severe turbulence left a dozen people injured on this Qatar Airways flight between Doha and Dublin.
We just felt the plane dip for about 5 seconds, and next to us we saw the flight attendant just go up in the air and come straight back down.
This latest bumpy ride comes just days after a Singapore Airlines flight also hit severe turbulence overseas, leaving dozens hospitalized and one passenger died from a heart attack. Back in the United States, many making the return home today, hoping to be in the fast lane.
Traffic was not bad at all. Extremely surprised.
And if you're planning on hitting the road today, but you don't know exactly what time you want to drive, AAA says the best time to do it would be after 7 p.m. And if you can, try to avoid driving between the hours of 3 and 7 p.m. That's when they anticipate there'll be the most traffic. Savannah?
All right, Priya, thank you so much. Let's turn now to the 2024 election. It's a critical week for former President Donald Trump as closing arguments are set to begin tomorrow in his criminal hush money trial here in New York. Mr. Trump faced a frosty reception over the weekend at the Libertarian Party's national convention. On the Democratic side, President Biden's campaign is taking aim at the former president, trying to characterize him as a threat to democracy. NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us from the White House with the latest. Hey, Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. National holidays like today are often important on the election calendar, too. And over this weekend, former President Donald Trump, instead of staging his own campaign events, ventured to places where big built-in crowds were already gathered. As President Biden's campaign says it will ramp up its criticism of Trump's character and fitness with 1 month to go to the first debate.
This morning, a pivotal week begins for former President Donald Trump. His fate and his potential freedom on the line in a New York courtroom. Closing arguments set for tomorrow in the hush money criminal trial. After a weekend of highs and lows. A Sunday flyover, cruising above the Charlotte Motor Speedway in battleground North Carolina and greeting race fans. But no checkered flag at the Libertarian National Convention Saturday, where Mr. Trump was repeatedly booed.
That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win.
In a tight race, the former president looking beyond his loyal MAGA followers, but finding rejection.
You can either nominate us and put us in the position or give us your votes.
This holiday honors the greatest sacrifice. In North Carolina, Mr. Trump met with Gold Star families who know that sacrifice firsthand. Meanwhile, the Biden campaign is making a more aggressive play to define Mr. Trump by campaign officials.
President Trump is unhinged, he's dangerous, and we cannot let him get back to the Oval Office.
And a new ad voiced by actor Robert De Niro.
This time threatening to be a dictator, to terminate the Constitution.
Loyalty to the Constitution was a theme President Biden emphasized at the West Point commencement.
Nothing is guaranteed about our democracy in America. Every generation has an obligation to defend it, to protect it, to preserve it.
And today, President Biden will carry out one of the solemn duties of his office, honoring America's war dead at Arlington National Cemetery, where he will place a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier and speak about the meaning of this day. Savannah?
All right, Kelly O'Donnell, thank you very much, and happy Memorial Day. Well, as Kelly's piece noted, closing arguments are set to begin tomorrow in former President Trump's criminal hush money trial. Mr. Trump is facing 34 counts of fraud for allegedly falsifying business records to keep hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels under wraps. The former president has denied all allegations, as well as the affair with Miss Daniels. Throughout the trial, prosecutors called 20 witnesses, while the defense called 2. The jurors could begin deliberations as early as Wednesday. This, of course, being the first time a jury has had to rule on criminal charges against a current or former U.S. president. NBC News legal analyst Angela Sanadella joins us for more now. Angela, good morning. So walk us through how much preparation goes into closing arguments. How is each side approaching this phase of the trial? How are they getting ready right now?
Good morning, Savannah. So there is an enormous amount of preparation that goes into this, because this is really the point of persuasion, where both sides provide the story and the narrative that's going to tie together this very long trial with very complicated charges and evidence into something that the jury can believe one way or the other. So from the prosecution, we're going to have all of these witnesses being tied together to show that Trump allegedly directed Michael Cohen to cover up these hush money payments in order to unlawfully influence the election. So we'll have them discuss David Pecker and how the catch and kill scheme was set up. Then it was moved on to Hope Hicks, who then showed that there was a crisis situation after the Access Hollywood tape. And then we'll go to Stormy and to Michael Cohen, where the prosecution will hammer down that it's not that they chose Cohen as a witness because he is the most upright person in the room, but because this is who Donald Trump surrounded himself with. And then the defense will just essentially be saying that this is none of this is true, and that Donald Trump is not the mastermind. It's really Michael Cohen who is the one who's behind all of this. So just try to see doubt. So lots of preparation and lots of colorful arguments will come about. Savannah.
Angela, also just the way that this fell, right? It was this holiday weekend. It's Memorial Day, of course, today. So by the time that the jury gets back to court, it'll be about a week because of that holiday weekend that they were out. Does that mean anything negatively, positively for one side or the other? I mean, does the prosecution have to do kind of more work to bring people back up to speed, get them back in this mindset?
You know, I don't think it's necessarily bad or good for either side. I think for the prosecution, there were so many different pieces of evidence that sometimes when you take a long weekend like this, the jury can actually use their own time and own mind space to piece together and put in context. It's not just this constant assault of information, but they can take that time to process it. Now, the defense, though, could also possibly have the advantage where through that break, they can poke holes themselves. They can ask questions. So it's not clear it really goes to one side or the other, but hopefully it allows the jury to make as thoughtful of a decision as possible.
And Angela, how long do you see closing arguments playing out for? And then what does that mean for the coming week for the jury?
So closing arguments should end by Tuesday, which means that by Wednesday, the jury should be told to decide on the verdict. I believe that by the end of the week, it is very possible that we will know if former President Trump has been acquitted or has been convicted of this crime, of these crimes. Savannah.
All right. Angela Sanadella, thank you so much for joining us and happy Memorial Day to you. Well, families across the country are struggling with the cost of childcare. More than 100,000 workers left the childcare industry during the pandemic, and 16,000 childcare centers permanently closed. But for military families specifically, the burden is even higher since parents often have to relocate for work and put in more unconventional hours. Well, now it's beginning to impact the nation's ability to keep soldiers in service. NBC News senior policy reporter Shannon Pettypiece joins us on this now. Shannon, good morning. Such important reporting here. So tell us, what are some of the biggest challenges for military workers who need childcare?
Well, I'll give you an example of one, Savannah. Anyone who has looked for childcare recently, especially since the pandemic, knows there can be months, sometimes more than a year-long wait list to get into some daycare centers. Well, military families, they're often given just a couple months notice before they have to relocate. And on average, they're moving every 16 to 18 months. Then you have an unpredictable schedule that some of them face sometimes. You have the high cost of childcare. They're stationed in areas that sometimes don't have a lot of childcare options. I talked to one Army officer. She is a mom of 3, and here's what she told me about her struggles.
Since my oldest child was born in 2016, we've moved once every 16 to 18 months. So we've lived in 5 different states since she was, she's 7 now, so 5 different states since she was born. And there is a lot of mental and emotional labor that goes into securing childcare. And then there's also the factor of whether or not there is actual physical capacity for your children at the new duty station that you're going to. Our military CDCs are great, and my family has used everything from private nannies to au pairs. We've used civilian daycares with Army subsidies, and we've used military CDCs. We've had great experiences with all of them.
And, you know, she told me that in her military career, she has led a platoon in Afghanistan. She has jumped out of airplanes, but finding childcare has been the biggest challenge, and it's the one thing that has caused her to consider ending her military career early.
Oh, my goodness, Shannon, when you put it that way, the type of things that they face actually in the line of duty versus trying to just get childcare covered. So, Shannon, the Department of Defense is the largest employer-run childcare operator in the nation, and yet there are still these thousands of kids on the wait list. Explain that, exactly how it is that they are the largest employer-run childcare operation and what the DOD is doing to try to help bridge the gap here.
Yeah, so the military provides childcare on its bases, but the problem is, especially since the pandemic, they just don't have enough workers to be able to care for all the kids who are looking for a slot at those centers. There's 9,000 kids across the Defense Department waiting for a spot at one of these military-based childcare centers they operate. So the military is trying to up recruiting. They're offering bonuses. They're offering incentives, career advancements throughout their childcare network. But in this tight labor market, they say they're not only competing with other childcare centers, but public schools, and even in some areas, fast food chains that are paying $18 an hour, and they are just struggling to be able to compete and get more workers.
As we mentioned, this is impacting, right? People deciding to stay in service or not. We also know that the U.S. military is already facing a recruitment problem. How big of an issue is that? How badly are these numbers being impacted?
Well, top military officials say that they do see this as not just something they want to do that is nice for families, but something that is essential in order to be able to recruit and retain, especially people when they get more advanced in their careers, and to be able to have soldiers focused on the mission, not worrying about their child care. So they are trying to make this a priority, and they do feel in some ways this is just as important as the next defense system in order to making sure our military is ready and prepared.
Shannon, really important reporting. Thank you so much for bringing this to us. Well, Memorial Day weekend means the official, unofficial, I think, start of summer, but lifeguard shortages are making a splash nationwide. The problem is even forcing some beaches and pools to close over that lack of staffing. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk joins us live from New York's Jones Beach with the details. Stephanie, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. You know, the lifeguards just got on duty here at Jones Beach. They don't have a shortage here, but last week, the New York Governor, Kathy Hochul, was here announcing a new grant to help communities get more lifeguards. It's a problem nationwide, and the Lifeguard Association says it's those kinds of grants that they're going to need to get lifeguards back on the beach.
As the summer season starts heating up, with Americans headed to beaches and pools to cool off, this morning, rising concerns over lifeguard shortages across the nation.
With the shortage, I'm definitely going to come to where I know that we feel safe and definitely protected.
With some states, including New York and Michigan, already shutting down some beaches over the lack of lifeguards. A job once glamorized on TV screens.
Where are you taking me? I'm taking you to the beach.
The run to the water has slowed down in recent years. According to the American Lifeguard Association, about a third of public swimming pools across the country were affected by the shortage last year, prompting closures and reduced hours. Though the number of recreational protective service workers may be on the rise, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's still largely under pre-pandemic levels, with about 20,000 less workers on duty.
What we're seeing has been a trend that started somewhere around COVID.
Wyatt Werneth of the American Lifeguard Association says local communities should boost incentives and awareness.
What we're lacking here is a career path forward.
While lifeguards in Asbury Park, New Jersey, with full staffing on Memorial Day, say wages must be more competitive.
Working here for what they do, they should be paid more than some of the other jobs that usually high school kids or early college age kids get.
In New York State, wages for seasonal lifeguards have increased to $22 an hour to entice applicants, with the state investing $5 million towards incentivizing lifeguard recruitment. Drones will also be used to aid beach rescues.
We're spotting swimmers in distress. We're looking for rips and where they may be present.
Now, with millions eager to take a summer dive into lakes, pools, and oceans, a nationwide call for new recruits to ensure a safe swimming season.
A couple of straightforward things you can do if you're going to your favorite beach or pool or lake. You know, check online and see if there are lifeguards on duty. And if you are considering going someplace where there aren't lifeguards on duty, there are some things you can do to keep safe. Make sure that you know how people swim in your group. Keep an eye on people who don't have great swim skills. Also, consider putting someone on the beach or at the poolside who's not swimming, just to keep an eye on people. And then also keep track of your own physical well-being. How do you feel? Have you had too much sun? Are you too hot? Those sorts of things can also affect you. So make sure you don't go in the water under those circumstances, and check the weather. Always check the weather. Make sure that you're not going to have any lightning or thunder. That's the kind of thing that lifeguards do as well. Savannah?
All right, there you go. How to be your own if you have to be. Stephanie Gosk, thank you very much, and happy Memorial Day. Well, we have new information about the fatal shooting of soap opera actor Johnny Wachter. Los Angeles police say the incident happened early Sunday morning. Wachter was shot and killed as he was returning to his car and found 3 people allegedly trying to steal parts from it. When he confronted them, one of the people shot and killed Wachter. While the 37-year-old actor appeared in several films, he's probably best known for his role as Brando Corbin on General Hospital. Police are searching for the suspects. Well, there is much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, gone too soon. Devastating developments on the death of pro golfer Grayson Murray, what his family is saying, and how the sports world is remembering him. Up first, though, after the break, tension rising in the Middle East as Israel launches more strikes on Rafah. Stay with us. This is Morning News Now, and we will be right back. Welcome back. We turn now to the latest on the war in Gaza. Israel's war cabinet said it hopes to restart ceasefire negotiation talks this week, but it comes after dozens of Palestinians were killed by bombing in the city of Rafah. NBC News International correspondent Raf Sanchez joins us now from Israel. Raf, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. After a weekend of intensive talks involving the CIA director, an Israeli official says they believe ceasefire negotiations could resume as early as this week. But for now, fighting rages on in Gaza, and that's despite an order from the UN's highest court for Israel to halt its military offensive in the south. Last night, a new major and deadly strike in the city of Rafah.
Overnight, fire and horror in Rafah. An Israeli airstrike at a camp for displaced civilians, setting tents and cars aflame. Fire crews in Hamas-run Gaza say at least 40 people were killed, many of them women and children. One of the deadliest bombings in Rafah of the entire war. The Red Crescent says it happened in a designated safe zone. But Israel says the strike killed 2 senior Hamas commanders responsible for attacks in the occupied West Bank, adding it is aware of reports indicating that as a result of the strike and fire that was ignited, several civilians in the area were harmed. The incident is under review.
Sitting is open.
The UN's highest court has ordered Israel to halt the Rafah offensive, but has no power to enforce the ruling. And Israel giving no sign it will comply, saying hostages are being held in Rafah.
We will not stop fighting for their freedom.
On Sunday, Hamas fired rockets towards central Israel for the first time in 4 months. With sirens blaring in Tel Aviv, the IDF says the rockets came from Rafah. Meanwhile, further up the coast, new questions about the safety of U.S. service personnel after 4 small army boats broke their moorings in heavy seas, washing up in Israel and Gaza. The ships were delivering aid through an American-built temporary pier. U.S. Central Command saying no injuries have been reported and the pier remains fully functional. But 3 U.S. personnel did suffer non-combat injuries last week, the Pentagon says. 1 seriously wounded.
And Savannah, you may be able to hear the wind howling here in southern Israel. That's what caused those boats to come off their mooring. If you look behind me in the foreground here, you can see one of the smaller vessels that washed up on the beach here in Israel. There's 2 more like it about 20 miles down the coast in Gaza. And in the background there is a larger military ship that's involved in the recovery effort. Now, U.S. Central Command did manage to get one of the boats off the beach here in Israel earlier, and they hope to get this one behind me off sometime soon. Savannah.
All right, Raf, thank you very much for your reporting. Well, rapper Nicki Minaj was arrested in Amsterdam over the weekend in the middle of a world tour. Minaj was on her way to England when she was detained at an airport in the Netherlands, with part of the incident captured on Instagram Live. NBC News correspondent Megan Fitzgerald has the latest.
They just said I have to get in this van and go to the precinct with them.
Nicki Minaj sharing the dramatic moment with the world.
Where am I going? For what?
The rapper, songwriter, and actor live streaming on Instagram these moments at the airport in Amsterdam Saturday. Police appearing to tell the 41-year-old star politely she's under arrest.
We will bring you to the police station. Yes?
For what?
You can go because you are carrying drugs.
I'm not carrying drugs.
Okay, but it's not a question here. I think it's
I'm not carrying drugs.
Inside.
Number one, when I came here,
yeah.
The back.
You can go inside.
No, I'm not going in there. I need a lawyer present.
Police saying they would help Minaj make it to her upcoming performance on time before escorting her into this vehicle and closing her in. The artist was on her way to her concert in Manchester, England, which was then canceled. The 12-time Grammy-nominated and multi-platinum selling artist catapulted to stardom with hits like Super Bass.
Let's go to the beach, let's go get a wave.
And Starships.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Most recently, releasing Barbie World with Ice Spice for the box office hit Barbie. NBC News asking Dutch authorities if they arrested the rap star. Police only confirming that they arrested a 41-year-old American woman after being found in possession of soft drugs. And hours later, posting on social media, the woman was issued a fine and released.
Our thanks to Megan Fitzgerald for that reporting. Will Minaj apologized to fans on X, showing that she plans to make up for the canceled Manchester show. Well, let's get you some other international news now. We're going to start with devastating new developments out of Papua New Guinea, where officials say hundreds are dead and more than 2,000 buried alive after a massive landslide. Claudio Lavanga joins us from Rome with that and more. Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. Officials in Papua New Guinea decided to reach out to the United Nations for help after that devastating and deadly landslide last Friday. Now, they say more than 2,000 people have been buried alive. The landslide occurred at around 3 in the morning on Friday, while most of the community were asleep. Reuters say rescuers told local media they heard screams from beneath the earth. And North Korea has announced its plans to launch its second military spy satellite by early next week. Japan, South Korea and the United States agreed to call on North Korea to abandon the launch. South Korea calling the move a provocation that seriously threatens their national security. And we end up in the most famous street in Paris, the Champs-Élysées, where yesterday thousands of Parisians took part of a giant picnic. The participants were selected by lottery and were given picnic baskets with chicken, strawberries, cookies, and of course, la baguette, made by local chefs. The event organizers say they hope this will help bring back Parisians and their families to the Champs-Élysées, which is usually frequented by a lot of tourists. Back to you.
How neat is that? All right, Claudia, thank you so much. Coming up, a high-stakes meeting overseas. When we come back, we will take you to Taiwan, where U.S. officials are meeting the country's new president for the first time as tensions escalate with China. Plus, shock and sadness in the sports world and beyond over the sudden death of golfer Grayson Murray. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A bipartisan group of lawmakers is in Taiwan this morning to meet with the newly inaugurated president who took office just days ago. But this visit also comes after China just finished 2 days of so-called punishment drills in the Taiwan Strait for what it described as separatist acts. NBC News will be the only American news organization with a camera for these upcoming meetings. Joining us live from Taipei on what we can expect from this trip is NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles. Ryan, good morning. Walk us through what we're going to see here. I understand Texas Representative Michael McCall is now making his second trip here. He has called this visit a, quote, deterrent. Walk us through what that means, what this meeting is going to cover, and what the hopes here are.
Yeah, Savannah, we already saw today this American delegation meet face-to-face with Taiwan's new president, who was just inaugurated a few days ago. And in his inaugural speech, made it clear that Taiwan wants to continue what they enjoy here on this island. And that's a free, open and democratic governance, something that is much different than what you see on mainland China. But that is a problem. China believes that Taiwan is part of China. They strongly believe in a unification of this island with mainland China. But for many years, the residents of Taiwan have enjoyed a much different reality. And the United States views the somewhat independence that Taiwan has, their ability to self-govern, as an important part of global national security. And so we've seen the United States provide weapons and aid to Taiwan in a defense capacity to deter China from taking the provocative step of actually attacking and taking over the island. And the delegation that's here today believes that being here shows a strong symbol of support to Beijing, to China, to Xi Jinping, that the United States has Taiwan's back and that it would not be worth invading this island for their own gains. Savannah.
Yeah, Ryan, so the Chinese embassy had even warned the delegation not to come to Taiwan. They were saying it sends a gravely wrong signal. What will this do to the already tense relationship between the U.S. and China?
Yeah, There's two ways to look at this, Savannah, and there's no doubt that China wants the United States to believe that this is going to make the situation worse. They said in a statement the planned trip to Taiwan at this sensitive moment is a serious provocation and will definitely lead to the deterioration of the situation across the strait. China will take resolute response, and the consequences will be borne by the related Congress members. That could be an indication that they'll perhaps attempt to sanction some of these members. They've already done that with the Foreign Affairs Chairman Mike McCall, who's leading this delegation because of a previous visit that he had here. But these members that are here today, the ones that I talked to, believe that being here and the fact that China is reacting so strongly is the best signal that this is having the impact that they desire, that China understands that the United States is closely aligned with Taiwan, that they believe and support their self-governance, and that will have them thinking twice before they take the step of an invasion, which could lead to much bigger problems down the road.
Ryan, ahead of this meeting with the new president, the Taiwanese military detected Chinese military aircraft and vessels operating around Taiwan. I mentioned that just a moment ago, after Congress also recently passed nearly $2 billion in military aid for Taiwan. Do you think that this leads to other provocations by China?
There's no doubt, if you look at the trend line, Savannah, that China has become more and more active in this region. In fact, we were looking at maps today that has showed the escalation of their military exercises. At one point, they were just reserved to the Taiwan Strait in between the island and the mainland. They are now doing operations that extend all the way around the island. So there's no doubt that they're ramping up these exercises. But it's interesting, when you talk to people that live here in Taiwan, they just brush it off. They act like it's not really that big of a deal, that it's just China flexing its muscles. They've been doing this for decades. They don't fear an imminent attack. Well, part of the reason why is because they believe that their government is doing everything it can to supply and create a strong military defense that would deter China from taking that step. But there is no doubt that China is still seeking to intimidate Taiwan to move closer to unification. At this point, what the Taiwanese people have told us time and time again during our time here, they just want status quo. They don't want things to change. Savannah?
All right, Ryan Nobles, thank you very much. Well, the world of golf is in shock this morning after the sudden death of two-time PGA champion Grayson Murray. According to the 30-year-old's parents, Murray took his own life on Saturday after withdrawing in the middle of a tournament. Here's NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin with more.
Hearts go out to Grayson's family.
At the Charles Schwab Challenge in Texas, players wearing red and black ribbons in honor of golfer Grayson Murray. Hours after his family revealed in a statement, the two-time PGA Tour winner took his own life. Writing, "We have so many questions that have no answers, but one, was Grayson loved? The answer is yes. He was loved and he will be missed." On Friday, Murray suddenly withdrew from the tournament at Colonial, his death stunning the world of golf.
It's a really hard day.
Over the years, Murray was open about his battle with alcoholism, anxiety, and depression.
I wanted to give up a lot of times, give up on myself, give up on the game of golf.
But in January, a comeback, winning the Sony Open, announcing he'd been sober for 8 months and celebrating his engagement. Golf Channel's Rich Lerner has been following Murray's career.
He was so open about his struggles. Why was that important to him?
He wanted to find purpose. He wanted to have a reason to go forward. You look at the highlights from that Sony Open, you see a young athlete in the prime of his career.
A rising star gone too soon.
Our thanks to Aaron for that report. And if you or anyone you know is struggling, this number right here, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's at 988. Coming up, handled without care, outrage after a college golf team sees their clubs mishandled by baggage handlers just days before a big tournament. What the airline had to say as frustration grows over the treatment of checked luggage. And protecting cadets, the new push on Capitol Hill to offer benefits to those training to be in the military. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Millions of people are heading home today after a long holiday weekend. Roads are packed, planes are packed, and that means lots of checked luggage. Well, one traveling golf team discovered that bags getting handled with care may not be par for the course. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro has this story.
A cringeworthy sight for a college golf team, watching their golf club bags carelessly tossed around on the tarmac by airline baggage handlers.
These are not just any old golf clubs, right?
Right. These clubs are all fitted for, each individual player.
This all happening just days before the East Tennessee State University men's team was set to play in the NCAA tournament.
This is one of the biggest tournaments they'll play in their amateur careers. They were very kind of scared about whether any of those clubs could be broken.
The team reporting no damage to the clubs. Delta Airlines reaching out with an apology, asking for a mulligan on how their equipment was handled. It's just the latest example of travelers dealing with battered and broken baggage, like this scene of luggage falling off a conveyor belt. In this case, bags sent down a slide only to slam into other luggage. One baggage handler seen throwing things onto the ground, then apparently being reprimanded. All scenes no traveler wants to see.
What do you think happened to your bag?
It looks like it was run over.
Tiffany Hess had to gate check her carry-on, but got it back in a very different condition. The contents so jostled that cosmetic powders and pallets were crushed. These invisible retainers, a costly casualty.
It was like $500 or $525, something like that.
Despite the headlines, over 485 million pieces of luggage were handled last year, according to the Department of Transportation. And travel experts say things are getting better, but no airline is perfect.
What recourse do passengers have?
Travelers can get sort of compensation from the airline in the case of contents being broken or mishandled, as well as the outside of the actual piece of luggage itself.
Experts say take photos of the outside as well as what you packed on the inside, or don't check a bag at all.
I thought I had done everything right.
Tiffany did get a check from the airline for around $970 to cover her losses and some emotional baggage.
Has this whole experience discouraged you from traveling?
Yes, absolutely. If no one else ever had to deal with this again, I would be so pleased.
Valerie Castro, NBC News.
Well, for thousands of young people enrolled in ROTC programs, military benefits aren't granted until after they're further along in their careers. That means they go through rigorous, sometimes even deadly training without any protections. Well, now a new bipartisan bill is trying to change that. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale has the details.
Jessica Swan's daughter, Mackenzie, felt like her miracle baby.
She was an amazing person. She's kind, loves science. She wanted to be a scientist her whole life.
In high school, Mackenzie joined the Reserve Officer Training Corps, or ROTC.
She had a phenomenal experience in high school, so she continued that in college.
On a cadet development exercise in June 2022, Mackenzie got into a Humvee with fellow cadets.
Basically said, go have fun.
The driver was not trained. Going over the speed limit, the vehicle spun, then flipped, killing Mackenzie.
You're living every parent's worst nightmare, and then adding to it immense financial strain.
Expenses piled up, burial cost, missed work, legal proceedings are still ongoing. Jessica lost the home she'd been renting.
So there we were on the 1-year anniversary of her death, just like scrambling, trying to find any resemblance of consistency, of stability.
Families of active duty service members lost in the line of duty receive a death gratuity of $100,000. Families of ROTC cadets, like Jessica, get nothing. Manny Vega's been on a mission to change that. A Marine veteran himself, Manny's 21-year-old son, Patrick, dreamed of serving. He died 10 days into basic training from, the family says, complications of the common cold and poor medical care.
As a service-disabled veteran who carries a medal that says heroism, to have the Marine Corps fail my son, because they did, they failed my son, and to fail his family, I'm very conflicted. It's very painful. And just the coldness of the culture is what really upsetting.
Patrick died at boot camp, so the Vegas got their death gratuity, unlike Jessica. The coverage gaps moved Manny to turn grief into action, starting Save Our Service members, pushing for policy change and supporting other families who suffered losses like his.
What was it like finding the community that Manny was able to build?
It's been life-saving.
As a Marine, you're taught to take care of your own. You never leave Don't leave anybody behind.
Democratic Congressman Salud Carbajal was taught the same and served with Vega.
This is something that you are keenly aware of from a policy perspective, but also from a personal perspective, right?
Absolutely.
He teamed up with fellow veteran Republican Michael Waltz.
He, once upon a time, also served in the ROTC program. I served in the delayed entry program. We know personally what these gaps can do in terms of not provide to the families of those service members who die in service and sacrifice, what it does to their families.
We're facing a recruiting crisis, as we're facing a retention crisis. If families find out that they're not covered, oh, wait a minute, my son or daughter is about to go jump out of planes, but they don't get the types of benefits that every other military member does.
The lawmakers' bill, included in an annual national defense package that's not yet passed Congress, would partly correct the oversight, authorizing payment of a death gratuity and providing casualty assistance to families of ROTC cadets that die in sanctioned training events.
What does it feel like knowing that changes are coming, hopefully?
I feel like she didn't die in vain if it helps somebody else.
What's it going to feel like to get to call Manny and say, we got this done?
It's going to be very meaningful to me.
I'm so grateful to those families for sharing those stories, all in the name of policy change for the better. Here in Congress, the push is ongoing to have broader benefits applied to a wider group of military service members who are lost in the line of duty, to make sure their families have access to those benefits. The goal right now is to do it in this National Defense Authorization Package, but both lawmakers involved in this fight right now say to them it underscores the need to have more veterans serving in this body. Back to you.
Ali Vitale, incredible reporting. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, he calls it the highest honor. We'll introduce you to an Army bugler set to perform the tribute of a lifetime for thousands of America's bravest soldiers. You're watching Morning News Now. Welcome back. One of the most famous homes in movie history is on the market. You're looking at it. Kevin McAllister's house from Home Alone. It's up for sale for the first time in 12 years. The 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom home in the Chicago suburb of Winnetka is going for more than $5 million. Look at it. It's beautiful. Don't expect, though, the interior to look anything like the movie. Look at this. It's recently been transformed. Even the basement now has a whole light-filled suite instead of that creepy boiler. The realtor shared a video of the house on Instagram, calling it a piece of American history. Pretty neat. Well, finally this hour, we end on a positive note to remember and mark Memorial Day. One Army bugler will give the performance of a lifetime as he honors those who gave the ultimate sacrifice nearly 80 years ago on D-Day. Here's NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson with a preview of this special tribute for thousands of America's bravest soldiers.
The notes, somber and familiar. A musical homage heard so many times before. But for Sergeant First Class Eric Stroop of the Army Reserve 81st Readiness Division in Fort Knox, Kentucky, his performance in France next week will be extra special.
Being able to travel and honor the events that happened both leading up to and being on D-Day. As a bugler, it's the highest honor we can participate in.
This was to be the longest day.
D-Day, June 6, 1944.
The Allied invasion had begun.
When Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy. Some 2,500 Americans were killed that day. Now, 80 years on, Sergeant Stroop and the 100th Army Reserve Band will be there, standing in solidarity to honor the fallen. His call to service, a family affair, his father, stepdad, and uncle all enlisting.
I'm standing on a history of who I compare to as my heroes in a lot of instances.
A bugler nearly all his life, Sergeant Stroop's love of music brought him to this life-changing moment. He and his bandmate practicing before their journey, making sure not one note is out of tune.
You have this nagging kind of feeling that you don't want to let anybody down, especially for something as monumentous as an 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Their upcoming performances in France, more than a dozen planned, tributes to the brave souls who died that fateful day.
those soldiers, they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And if me playing 21 notes in the highest regard is the highest honor I can do, then I'm going to do it as best as I can every single time.
What a report. Our thanks to Hallie Jackson for that. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but the news continues right now. Good morning and happy Memorial Day. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. Developing right now on Morning News Now, Mother Nature carving a path of destruction as severe weather sweeps through the central U.S. This morning, we're tracking more storms as the threat moves east. This, of course, comes as millions of Americans make their way home as the busy Memorial Day weekend comes to a close.
I think it's pretty packed for 5 a.m. Yeah.
People want to get out, have a good time, and finally get out to visiting family.
And more flying fears as we learn about another turbulent flight that left a dozen people injured. Also, a critical week unfolding for Donald Trump, closing arguments set to begin tomorrow in his historic criminal hush money trial. And on the campaign trail, President Biden taking aim at former President Trump. We'll have the latest. Plus, the challenge of childcare. Military families forced to give up their life of service as they struggle to find care for their children. More on the issue and the implications. And officials sounding the alarm about a shortage of lifeguards ahead of the busy summer swim season. More on the problem that's making waves from community pools to popular beaches. We're going to begin this hour with that round of violent storms that rattled the South and Great Plains this Memorial Day weekend, killing at least 19 people. This gas station we're going to show you in Valley View, Texas, it took a direct hit from a tornado. Dozens of drivers had abandoned their cars and took shelter there as a twister bore down on the area. Moments later, the tornado slammed into the gas station, destroying it. Kentucky is under a state of emergency also after storms tore through the state. Hundreds of thousands of residents reported having no power over the weekend. That same severe storm moved through Missouri, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and hail. Wind gusts reached up to 70 and even 80 miles per hour throughout the day on Sunday. The Indianapolis 500 also felt the effects of the storm. Severe weather delayed the start of the race by 4 hours as fans were asked to evacuate and take shelter. We'll tell you where the storms are headed next and how that could impact your trip home if you're traveling this holiday weekend. Let's start, though, with NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson. She is in hard-hit Valley View, Texas, with a look at the damage.
Well, the devastation all around is just heartbreaking. You look at this car and the windows are completely blown out. It was actually tossed from this gas station parking lot where there were about 125 people sheltering when this tornado bore down, tearing off the roof of this building. Miraculously, all of those people survived, but many of them, as are people across this area, waking up in shock and just grateful to be alive.
There's a tornado right there. Oh, there it is. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Dozens of tornadoes touching down across the South this Memorial Day weekend, flattening buildings like this gas station in Texas. Heart-stopping new video showing the moment an EF2 tornado ripped through. It's okay. It's okay. 125 people were seeking shelter inside. Incredibly, residents say no one was seriously injured.
It was crazy. It was loud.
Multiple states, including Oklahoma and Arkansas, reeling from the wild weather.
Boom! Like we got hit by lightning or something. That's the worst I've ever experienced.
The powerful storms brought golf ball-sized hail and took out trees and power lines.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's just heartbreaking.
Monica Vasquez, her husband, and 5 children took shelter in a closet as a tornado tore through their Valley View, Texas neighborhood. The roof was completely ripped off their home.
What was going through your mind?
I don't want to die.
The National Weather Service says more than 400 reported tornadoes have slammed the country this month alone, the most since 2019. And forecasters predict more treacherous weather ahead, a very dark cloud hanging over the unofficial start of summer.
And there are still about 500,000 people without power throughout the South and the Midwest as these storms are still on the move. Back to you.
All right, Priscilla, thank you so much. Well, now let's get a check on where the storms are headed next and take a look at your forecast for the week ahead with Michelle Grossman with us this morning. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Savannah. Well, we're looking at the East Coast today. That's going to be from New England, Great Lakes, all the way down to the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, along the Gulf Coast, too. Could see a couple storms. We're not looking at storms like we saw over the weekend, but still impactful with really heavy rain. Could see a few tornadoes, damaging winds, and also some hail. So that holiday washout, you could see even some heavy rain is expected, 4 or 5 inches in some spots. So be careful if you're out on the roads. If you have picnics planned or parades, you want to stay weather aware. Back to the Midwest, we're looking at some spotty showers into the northern plains as well. Then another really big weather story today will be some really toasty conditions in the south. We're looking at temperatures 5, even 15 degrees above normal into the triple digits for many. So if you're going to be outdoors for a while, you want to get to shade, stay under a tree, stay near a fan if you can, or just maybe spend a little bit more time indoors from time to time. Back to the west, we're looking really good. Nice and dry from pretty much the central plains all the way back to the west. It's the east coast, though, that we're going to see the wicked weather as we go throughout the day. Now, by Wednesday, the storms return into the southern plains. Could see some heavy rains with that as well to the Intermountain West, too. Higher elevation snow still falling in the month of May. Sending clouds throughout the Midwest into the Great Lakes. And then we're looking at soggy conditions once again on Wednesday for parts of New England into the Mid-Atlantic, also the Northeast. Not expecting heavy rain or storms there, but kind of a wet day on Wednesday. Could see a few showers, too, in Florida. Then as we near Friday, more rain in the middle of the country. Some of it could be heavy, especially in the central and southern plains. Plenty of sunshine in the west. We're looking at some Intermountain West snow once again. And looking sunny and seasonal throughout the Midwest, also the Northeast, some rain falling in the state of Florida. So this is what it looks like on radar right now. We're looking at heavy rain falling, some storms, not so much like we saw past couple of hours. That's kind of died down a bit, but we're going to see these storms reignite as we get that daytime heating going. Still seeing, though, some lightning throughout portions of the Gulf Coast into the southeast. Atlanta, you're seeing some heavy storms right now. Also looking at that heavy rain with all those colors. Savannah, it's due to this cold front that's moving through some really warm, humid air, and that's why we're concerned more for more storms throughout the day. Again, could see some pretty gusty thunderstorms.
All right. Well, we had beautiful weather for the past couple days in this area, so
nice.
That's all right. All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, this year is the busiest Memorial Day travel weekend in 20 years, with airlines and TSA seeing a record-setting spike in passengers. NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar is at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with the latest. Hey, Priya, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. As the unofficial kickoff to the summer holiday season weekend comes to a close, many are prepping their return trips home ahead of those storms that are rolling through the Midwest, the Plains, and the Mid-South. But despite that, millions of Americans wouldn't let anything get in their way.
This morning, a record-setting holiday weekend for air travel.
I think it's pretty packed for 5 a.m., yeah.
With the TSA screening nearly 3 million passengers nationwide on Friday, breaking the agency's record for most travelers passing through security checkpoints in a single day. The previous high set last year, just a few days after Thanksgiving.
People want to get out, have a good time, and finally get out to visiting family like they did, 5-10 years ago, well before COVID.
In total, more than 18 million passengers and crew screened from Thursday to Sunday. Though the vast majority of the nearly 44 million AAA forecasted to travel this weekend did so by car in what's believed to be the busiest Memorial Day weekend in 20 years. The national average price of gas, $3.59 a gallon, down about 6 cents from last month and around the same price travelers paid last Memorial Day. And while the American Skyways have led to relatively few cancellations this holiday weekend, overseas, severe turbulence left a dozen people injured on this Qatar Airways flight between Doha and Dublin.
We just felt the plane dip for about 5 seconds, and next to us we saw the flight attendant just go up in the air and come straight back down.
This latest bumpy ride comes just days after a Singapore Airlines flight also hit severe turbulence overseas, leaving dozens hospitalized and one passenger died from a heart attack. Back in the United States, many making the return home today, hoping to be in the fast lane.
Traffic was not bad at all. Extremely surprised.
And if you're planning on hitting the road today, but you don't know exactly what time you want to drive, AAA says the best time to do it would be after 7 p.m. And if you can, try to avoid driving between the hours of 3 and 7 p.m. That's when they anticipate there'll be the most traffic. Savannah?
All right, Priya, thank you so much. Let's turn now to the 2024 election. It's a critical week for former President Donald Trump as closing arguments are set to begin tomorrow in his criminal hush money trial here in New York. Mr. Trump faced a frosty reception over the weekend at the Libertarian Party's national convention. On the Democratic side, President Biden's campaign is taking aim at the former president, trying to characterize him as a threat to democracy. NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us from the White House with the latest. Hey, Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. National holidays like today are often important on the election calendar, too. And over this weekend, former President Donald Trump, instead of staging his own campaign events, ventured to places where big built-in crowds were already gathered. As President Biden's campaign says it will ramp up its criticism of Trump's character and fitness with 1 month to go to the first debate.
This morning, a pivotal week begins for former President Donald Trump. His fate and his potential freedom on the line in a New York courtroom. Closing arguments set for tomorrow in the hush money criminal trial. After a weekend of highs and lows. A Sunday flyover, cruising above the Charlotte Motor Speedway in battleground North Carolina and greeting race fans. But no checkered flag at the Libertarian National Convention Saturday, where Mr. Trump was repeatedly booed.
That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win.
In a tight race, the former president looking beyond his loyal MAGA followers, but finding rejection.
You can either nominate us and put us in the position or give us your votes.
This holiday honors the greatest sacrifice. In North Carolina, Mr. Trump met with Gold Star families who know that sacrifice firsthand. Meanwhile, the Biden campaign is making a more aggressive play to define Mr. Trump. By campaign officials,
President Trump is unhinged, he's dangerous, and we cannot let him get back to the Oval Office.
And a new ad voiced by actor Robert De Niro.
This time threatening to be a dictator, to terminate the Constitution.
Loyalty to the Constitution was a theme President Biden emphasized at the West Point commencement.
Nothing is guaranteed about our democracy in America. Every generation has an obligation to defend it, to protect it, to preserve it.
And today, President Biden will carry out one of the solemn duties of his office, honoring America's war dead at Arlington National Cemetery, where he will place a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier and speak about the meaning of this day. Savannah?
All right, Kelly O'Donnell, thank you very much, and happy Memorial Day. Well, as Kelly's piece noted, closing arguments are set to begin tomorrow in former President Trump's criminal hush money trial. Mr. Trump is facing 34 counts of fraud for allegedly falsifying business records to keep hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels under wraps. The former president has denied all allegations, as well as the affair with Miss Daniels. Throughout the trial, prosecutors called 20 witnesses, while the defense called 2. The jurors could begin deliberations as early as Wednesday. This, of course, being the first time a jury has had to rule on criminal charges against a current or former U.S. president. NBC News legal analyst Angela Sanadella joins us for more now. Angela, good morning. So walk us through how much preparation goes into closing arguments. How is each side approaching this phase of the trial? How are they getting ready right now?
Good morning, Savannah. So there is an enormous amount of preparation that goes into this, because this is really the point of persuasion, where both sides provide the story and the narrative that's going to tie together this very long trial with very complicated charges and evidence into something that the jury can believe one way or the other. So from the prosecution, we're going to have all of these witnesses being tied together to show that Trump allegedly directed Michael Cohen to cover up these hush money payments in order to unlawfully influence the election. So we'll have them discuss David Pecker and how the catch and kill scheme was set up. Then it was moved on to Hope Hicks, who then showed that there was a crisis situation after the Access Hollywood tape. And then we'll go to Stormy and to Michael Cohen, where the prosecution will hammer down that it's not that they chose Cohen as a witness because he is the most upright person in the room, but because this is who Donald Trump surrounded himself with. And then the defense will just essentially be saying that this is none of this is true, and that Donald Trump is not the mastermind. It's really Michael Cohen who is the one who is behind all of this. So just try to see doubt. So lots of preparation and lots of colorful arguments will come about. Savannah.
Angela, also just the way that this fell, right? It was this holiday weekend. It's Memorial Day, of course, today. So by the time that the jury gets back to court, it'll be about a week because of that holiday weekend that they were out. Does that mean anything negatively, positively for one side or the other? I mean, does the prosecution have to do kind of more work to bring people back up to speed, get them back in this mindset?
You know, I don't think it's necessarily bad or good for either side. I think for the prosecution, there were so many different pieces of evidence that sometimes when you take a long weekend like this, the jury can actually use their own time and own mind space to piece together and put in context. It's not just this constant assault of information, but they can take that time to process it. Now, the defense, though, could also possibly have the advantage where through that break, they can poke holes themselves. They can ask questions. So it's not clear it really goes to one side or the other, but hopefully it allows the jury to make as thoughtful of a decision as possible.
And Angela, how long do you see closing arguments playing out for? And then what does that mean for the coming week for the jury?
So closing arguments should end by Tuesday, which means that by Wednesday, the jury should be told to decide on the verdict. I believe that by the end of the week, it is very possible that we will know if former President Trump has been acquitted or has been convicted of this crime, of these crimes. Savannah.
All right. Angela Sanadella, thank you so much for joining us, and happy Memorial Day to you. Well, families across the country are struggling with the cost of childcare. More than 100,000 workers left the childcare industry during the pandemic, and 16,000 childcare centers permanently closed. But for military families specifically, the burden is even higher, since parents often have to relocate for work and put in more unconventional hours. Well, now it's beginning to impact the nation's ability to keep soldiers in service. NBC News senior policy reporter Shannon Pettypiece joins us on this now. Shannon, good morning. Such important reporting here. So tell us, what are some of the biggest challenges for military workers who need childcare?
Well, I'll give you an example of one, Savannah. Anyone who has looked for childcare recently, especially since the pandemic, knows there can be months, sometimes more than a year-long wait list to get into some daycare centers. Well, military families, they're often given just a couple months' notice before they have to relocate. And on average, they're moving every 16 to 18 months. Then you have an unpredictable schedule that some of them face sometimes. You have the high cost of childcare. They're stationed in areas that sometimes don't have a lot of childcare options. I talked to one Army officer. She is a mom of 3, and here's what she told me about her struggles.
Since my oldest child was born in 2016, we've moved once every 16 to 18 months. So we've lived in 5 different states since she was, she's 7 now. So 5 different states since she was born. And there is a lot of mental and emotional labor that goes into securing childcare. And then there's also the factor of whether or not there is actual physical capacity for your children at the new duty station that you're going to. Our military CDCs are great, and my family has used everything from private nannies to au pairs. We've used civilian daycares with Army subsidies, and we've used military CDCs. We've had great experiences with all of them.
And, she told me that in her military career, she has led a platoon in Afghanistan. She has jumped out of airplanes, but finding childcare has been the biggest challenge, and it's the one thing that has caused her to consider ending her military career early.
Oh, my goodness, Shannon, when you put it that way, the type of things that they face actually in the line of duty versus trying to just get childcare covered. So, Shannon, the Department of Defense is the largest employer-run childcare operator in the nation, and yet there are still these thousands of kids on the wait list. Explain that, exactly how it is that they are the largest employer-run childcare operation, and what the DOD is doing to try to help bridge the gap here.
Yeah, so the military provides childcare on its bases, but the problem is, especially since the pandemic, they just don't have enough workers to be able to care for all the kids who are looking for a slot at those centers. There's 9,000 kids across the Defense Department waiting for a spot at one of these military-based childcare centers they operate. So the military is trying to up recruiting. They're offering bonuses, they're offering incentives, career advancements throughout their childcare network. But in this tight labor market, they say they're not only competing with other childcare centers, centers, but public schools, and even in some areas, fast food chains that are paying $18 an hour, and they are just struggling to be able to compete and get more workers.
As we mentioned, this is impacting, right? People deciding to stay in service or not. We also know that the U.S. military is already facing a recruitment problem. How big of an issue is that? How badly are these numbers being impacted?
Well, top military officials say that they do see this as not just something they want to do that is nice for families, but something that is essential in order to be able to recruit and retain, especially people when they get more advanced in their careers, and to be able to have soldiers focused on the mission, not worrying about their child care. So they are trying to make this a priority, and they do feel in some ways this is just as important as the next defense system in order to making sure our military is ready and prepared.
Shannon, really important reporting. Thank you so much for bringing this to us. Well, Memorial Day weekend means the official, unofficial, I think, start of summer, but lifeguard shortages are making a splash nationwide. The problem is even forcing some beaches and pools to close over that lack of staffing. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk joins us live from New York's Jones Beach with the details. Stephanie, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. You know, the lifeguards just got on duty here at Jones Beach. They don't have a shortage here, but last week, the New York Governor, Kathy Hochul, was here announcing a new grant to help communities get more lifeguards. It's a problem nationwide, and the Lifeguard Association says it's those kinds of grants that they're going to need to get lifeguards back on the beach.
As the summer season starts heating up, with Americans headed to beaches and pools to cool off, this morning, rising concerns over lifeguard shortages across the nation.
With the shortage, I'm definitely going to come to where I know that we feel safe and definitely protected.
With some states, including New York and Michigan, already shutting down some beaches over the lack of lifeguards. A job once glamorized on TV screens.
Where are you taking me? I'm taking you to the beach.
The run to the water has slowed down in recent years. According to the American Lifeguard Association, about a third of public swimming pools across the country were affected by the shortage last year, prompting closures and reduced hours. Though the number of recreational protective service workers may be on the rise, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's still largely under pre-pandemic levels, with about 20,000 less workers on duty.
What we're seeing has been a trend that started somewhere around COVID.
Wyatt Werneth of the American Lifeguard Association says local communities should boost incentives and awareness.
What we're lacking here is a career path forward.
While lifeguards in Asbury Park, New Jersey, with full staffing on Memorial Day, say wages must be more competitive.
Working here for what they do, they should be paid more than some of the other jobs that usually high school kids or early college age kids get.
In New York State, wages for seasonal lifeguards have increased to $22 an hour to entice applicants, with the state investing $5 million towards incentivizing lifeguard recruitment. Drones will also be used to aid beach rescues.
We're spotting swimmers in distress. We're looking for rips and where they may be present.
Now, with millions eager to take a summer dive into lakes, pools, and oceans, a nationwide call for new recruits to ensure a safe swimming season.
A couple of straightforward things you can do if you're going to your favorite beach or pool or lake. You know, check online and see if there are lifeguards on duty. And if you are considering going someplace where there aren't lifeguards on duty, there are some things you can do to keep safe. Make sure that you know how people swim in your group. Keep an eye on people who don't have great swim skills. Also, consider putting someone on the beach or at the poolside who's not swimming, just to keep an eye on people. And then also keep track of your own physical well-being. How do you feel? Have you had too much sun? Are you too hot? Those sorts of things can also affect you. So make sure you don't go in the water under those circumstances, and check the weather. Always check the weather. Make sure that you're not going to have any lightning or thunder. That's the kind of thing that lifeguards do as well. Savannah?
All right, there you go. How to be your own if you have to be. Stephanie Gosk, thank you very much, and happy Memorial Day. Well, we have new information about the fatal shooting of soap opera actor Johnny Wachter. Los Angeles police say the incident happened early Sunday morning. Wachter was shot and killed as he was returning to his car and found 3 people allegedly trying to steal parts from it. When he confronted them, one of the people shot and killed Wachter. Well, the 37-year-old actor appeared in several films. He's probably best known for his role as Brando Corbin on General Hospital. Police are searching for the suspects. Well, there is much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, gone too soon. Devastating developments on the death of pro golfer Grayson Murray, what his family is saying, and how the sports world is remembering him. Up first, though, after the break, tension rising in the Middle East as Israel launches more strikes on Rafah. Stay with us. This is Morning News Now, and we will be right back. Welcome back. We turn now to the latest on the war in Gaza. Israel's war cabinet said it hopes to restart ceasefire negotiation talks this week, but it comes after dozens of Palestinians were killed by bombing in the city of Rafah. NBC News International correspondent Raf Sanchez joins us now from Israel. Raf, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. After a weekend of intensive talks involving the CIA director, an Israeli official says they believe ceasefire negotiations could resume as early as this week. But for now, fighting rages on in Gaza, and that's despite an order from the UN's highest court for Israel to halt its military offensive in the south. Last night, a new major and deadly strike in the city of Rafah.
Overnight, fire and horror in Rafah. An Israeli airstrike at a camp for displaced civilians, setting tents and cars aflame. Fire crews in Hamas-run Gaza say at least 40 people were killed, many of them women and children. One of the deadliest bombings in Rafah of the entire war. The Red Crescent says it happened in a designated safe zone. But Israel says the strike killed 2 senior Hamas commanders responsible for attacks in the occupied West Bank, adding it is aware of reports indicating that as a result of the strike and fire that was ignited, several civilians in the area were harmed. The incident is under review.
Sitting is open.
The UN's highest court has ordered Israel to halt the Rafah offensive, but has no power to enforce the ruling. And Israel giving no sign it will comply, saying hostages are being held in Rafah.
We will not stop fighting for their freedom.
On Sunday, Hamas fired rockets towards central Israel for the first time in 4 months. With sirens blaring in Tel Aviv, the IDF says the rockets came from Rafah. Meanwhile, further up the coast, new questions about the safety of U.S. service personnel after 4 small army boats broke their moorings in heavy seas, washing up in Israel and Gaza. The ships were delivering aid through an American-built temporary pier. U.S. Central Command saying no injuries have been reported and the pier remains fully functional. But 3 U.S. personnel did suffer non-combat injuries last week, the Pentagon says. 1 seriously wounded.
And Savannah, you may be able to hear the wind howling here in southern Israel. That's what caused those boats to come off their mooring. If you look behind me in the foreground here, you can see one of the smaller vessels that washed up on the beach here in Israel. There's 2 more like it about 20 miles down the coast in Gaza. And in the background there is a larger military ship that's involved in the recovery effort. Now, U.S. Central Command did manage to get one of the boats off the beach here in Israel earlier, and they hope to get this one behind me off sometime soon. Savannah.
All right, Raf, thank you very much for your reporting. Well, rapper Nicki Minaj was arrested in Amsterdam over the weekend in the middle of a world tour. Minaj was on her way to England when she was detained at an airport in the Netherlands, with part of the incident captured on Instagram Live. NBC News correspondent Megan Fitzgerald has the latest.
They just said I have to get in this van and go to the precinct with them.
Nicki Minaj sharing the dramatic moment with the world.
Where am I going? For what?
The rapper, songwriter, and actor live streaming on Instagram these moments at the airport in Amsterdam Saturday. Police appearing to tell the 41-year-old star politely she's under arrest.
We will bring you to the police station. Yes?
For what?
You can go because you are carrying drugs.
I'm not carrying drugs.
Okay, but it's not a question here. I think it's
I'm not carrying drugs.
Inside.
Number one, when I came here,
yeah.
The
okay,
back.
You can go inside.
No, I'm not going in there. I need a lawyer present.
Police saying they would help Minaj make it to her upcoming performance on time before escorting her into this vehicle and closing her in. The artist was on her way to her concert in Manchester, England, which was then canceled. The 12-time Grammy-nominated and multi-platinum selling artist catapulted to stardom with hits like Super Bass.
Let's go to the beach, eat, let's go get a wave.
And Starships.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Most recently, releasing Barbie World with Ice Spice for the box office hit Barbie. NBC News asking Dutch authorities if they arrested the rap star. Police only confirming that they arrested a 41-year-old American woman after being found in possession of soft drugs. And hours later, posting on social media, the woman was issued a fine and released.
Our thanks to Megan Fitzgerald for that reporting. Well, Minaj apologized to fans on X, showing that she plans to make up for the canceled Manchester show. Well, let's get you some other international news now. We're going to start with devastating new developments out of Papua New Guinea, where officials say hundreds are dead and more than 2,000 buried alive after a massive landslide. Claudio Lubanga joins us from Rome with that and more. Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. Officials in Papua New Guinea decided to reach out to the United Nations for help after that devastating and deadly landslide last Friday. Now, they say more than 2,000 people have been buried alive. The landslide occurred at around 3 in the morning on Friday, while most of the community were asleep. Reuters say rescuers told local media they heard screams from beneath the earth. And North Korea has announced its plans to launch its second military spy satellite by early next week. Japan, South Korea and the United States agreed to call on North Korea to abandon the launch. South Korea calling the move a provocation that seriously threatens their national security. And we end up in the most famous street in Paris, the Champs-Élysées, where yesterday thousands of Parisians took part of a giant picnic. The participants were selected by lottery and were given picnic baskets with chicken, strawberries, cookies, and of course, la baguette, made by local chefs. The event organizers say they hope this will help bring back Parisians and their families to the Champs-Élysées, which is usually frequented by a lot of tourists. Back to you.
How neat is that? All right, Claudio, thank you so much. Coming up, a high-stakes meeting overseas. When we come back, we will take you to Taiwan, where U.S. officials are meeting the country's new president for the first time as tensions escalate with China. Plus, shock and sadness in the sports world and beyond over the sudden death of golfer Grayson Murray. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A bipartisan group of lawmakers is in Taiwan this morning to meet with the newly inaugurated president who took office just days ago. But this visit also comes after China just finished 2 days of so-called punishment drills in the Taiwan Strait for what it described as separatist acts. NBC News will be the only American news organization with a camera for these upcoming meetings. Joining us live from Taipei on what we can expect from this trip is NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles. Ryan, good morning. Walk us through what we're going to see here. I understand Texas Representative Michael McCall is now making his second trip here. He has called this visit a, quote, deterrent. Walk us through what that means, what this meeting is going to cover, and what the hopes here are.
Yeah, Savannah, we already saw today this American delegation meet face-to-face with Taiwan's new president, who was just inaugurated a few days ago, and in his inaugural speech made it clear that Taiwan wants to continue what they enjoy here on this island, and that's a free, open and democratic governance, something that is much different than what you see on mainland China. But that is a problem. China believes that Taiwan is part of China. They strongly believe in a unification of this island with mainland China. But for many years, the residents of Taiwan have enjoyed a much different reality. And the United States views the somewhat independence that Taiwan has, their ability to self-govern, as an important part of global national security. And so we've seen the United States provide weapons and aid to Taiwan in a defense capacity to deter China from taking the provocative step of actually attacking and taking over the island. And the delegation that's here today believes that being here shows a strong symbol of support to Beijing, to China, to Xi Jinping, that the United States has Taiwan's back and that it would not be worth invading this island for their own gains. Savannah.
Yeah, Ryan, so the Chinese embassy had even warned the delegation not to come to Taiwan. They were saying it sends a gravely wrong signal. What will this do to the already tense relationship between the U.S. and China?
Yeah, there's two ways to look at this, Savannah, and there's no doubt that China wants the United States to believe that this is going to make the situation worse. They said in a statement the planned trip to Taiwan at this sensitive moment is a serious provocation and will definitely lead to the deterioration of the situation across the strait. China will take resolute response, and the consequences will be borne by the related Congress members. That could be an indication that they'll perhaps attempt to sanction some of these members. They've already done that with the Foreign Affairs Chairman Mike McCall, who's leading this delegation because of a previous visit that he had here. But these members that are here today, the ones that I talked to, believe that being here and the fact that China is reacting so strongly is the best signal that this is having the impact that they desire, that China understands that the United States is closely aligned with Taiwan, that they believe and support their self-governance, and that will have them thinking twice before they take the step of an invasion, which could lead to much bigger problems down the road.
Ryan, ahead of this meeting with the new president, the Taiwanese military detected Chinese military aircraft and vessels operating around Taiwan. I mentioned that just a moment ago, after Congress also recently passed nearly $2 billion in military aid for Taiwan. Do you think that this leads to other provocations by China?
There's no doubt, if you look at the trend line, Savannah, that China has become more and more active in this region. In fact, we were looking at maps today that has showed the escalation of their military exercises. At one point, they were just reserved to the Taiwan Strait in between the island and the mainland. They are now doing operations that extend all the way around the island. So there's no doubt that they're ramping up these exercises. But it's interesting, when you talk to people that live here in Taiwan, they just brush it off. They act like it's not really that big of a deal, that it's just China flexing its muscles. They've been doing this for decades. They don't fear an imminent attack. Well, part of the reason why is because they believe that their government is doing everything it can to supply and create a strong military defense that would deter China from taking that step. But there is no doubt that China is still seeking to intimidate Taiwan to move closer to unification. At this point, what the Taiwanese people have told us time and time again during our time here, they just want status quo. They don't want things to change. Savannah?
All right, Ryan Nobles, thank you very much. Well, the world of golf is in shock this morning after the sudden death of two-time PGA champion Grayson Murray. According to the 30-year-old's parents, Murray took his own life on Saturday after withdrawing in the middle of a tournament. Here's NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin with more.
Hearts go out to Grayson's family.
At the Charles Schwab Challenge in Texas, players wearing red and black ribbons in honor of golfer Grayson Murray. Hours after his family revealed in a statement, the two-time PGA Tour winner took his own life. Writing, "We have so many questions that have no answers, but one, was Grayson loved? The answer is yes. He was loved and he will be missed." On Friday, Murray suddenly withdrew from the tournament at Colonial, his death stunning the world of golf.
This is just a really hard day.
Over the years, Murray was open about his battle with alcoholism, anxiety, and depression.
I wanted to give up a lot of times. Give up on myself. Give up on the game of golf.
But in January, a comeback, winning the Sony Open, announcing he'd been sober for 8 months and celebrating his engagement. Golf Channel's Rich Lerner has been following Murray's career.
He was so open about his struggles. Why was that important to him?
He wanted to find purpose. He wanted to have a reason to go forward. You look at the highlights from that Sony Open, you see a young athlete in the prime of his career.
A rising star gone too soon.
Our thanks to Aaron for that report. And if you or anyone you know is struggling, this number right here, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's at 988. Coming up, handled without care, outrage after a college golf team sees their clubs mishandled by baggage handlers just days before a big tournament. What the airline had to say as frustration grows over the treatment of checked luggage. And protecting cadets, the new push on Capitol Hill to offer benefits to those training to be in the military. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Millions of people are heading home today after a long holiday weekend. Roads are packed, planes are packed, and that means lots of checked luggage. Well, one traveling golf team discovered that bags getting handled with care may not be par for the course. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro has this story.
A cringeworthy sight for a college golf team. Watching their golf club bags carelessly tossed around on the tarmac by airline baggage handlers.
These are not just any old golf clubs, right?
Right. These clubs are all fitted for, each individual player.
This all happening just days before the East Tennessee State University men's team was set to play in the NCAA tournament.
This is one of the biggest tournaments they'll play in their amateur careers. They were very kind of scared about whether any of those clubs could be broken.
The team reporting no damage to the clubs. Delta Airlines reaching out with an apology, asking for a mulligan on how their equipment was handled. It's just the latest example of travelers dealing with battered and broken baggage, like this scene of luggage falling off a conveyor belt. In this case, bags sent down a slide only to slam into other luggage. One baggage handler seen throwing things onto the ground, then apparently being reprimanded. All scenes no traveler wants to see.
What do you think happened to your bag?
It looks like it was run over.
Tiffany Hess had to gate check her carry-on, but got it back in a very different condition. The contents so jostled that cosmetic powders and palettes were crushed. These invisible retainers, a costly casualty.
It was like $500 or $525, something like that.
Despite the headlines, over 485 million pieces of luggage were handled last year, according to the Department of Transportation. And travel experts say things are getting better, but no airline is perfect.
What recourse do passengers have?
Travelers can get sort of compensation from the airline in the case of contents being broken or mishandled, as well as the outside of the actual piece of luggage itself.
Experts say take photos of the outside as well as what you packed on the inside, or don't check a bag at all.
I thought I had done everything right.
Tiffany did get a check from the airline for around $970 to cover her losses and some emotional baggage.
Has this whole experience discouraged you from traveling?
Yes, absolutely. If no one else ever had to deal with this again, I would be so pleased.
Valerie Castro, NBC News.
Well, for thousands of young people enrolled in ROTC programs, military benefits aren't granted until after they're further along in their careers. That means they go through rigorous, sometimes even deadly training without any protections. Well, now a new bipartisan bill is trying to change that. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale has the details.
Jessica Swan's daughter, Mackenzie, felt like her miracle baby.
She was an amazing person. She's kind, loves science. She wanted to be a scientist her whole life.
In high school, Mackenzie joined the Reserve Officer Training Corps, or ROTC.
She had a phenomenal experience in high school, so she continued that in college.
On a cadet development exercise in June 2022, Mackenzie got into a Humvee with fellow cadets.
Basically said, go have fun.
The driver was not trained. Going over the speed limit, the vehicle spun, then flipped, killing Mackenzie.
You're living every parent's worst nightmare, and then adding to it immense financial strain.
Expenses piled up, burial cost, missed work, legal proceedings are still ongoing. Jessica lost the home she'd been renting.
So there we were on the 1-year anniversary of her death, just like scrambling, trying to find any resemblance of consistency, of stability.
Families of active duty service members lost in the line of duty receive a death gratuity of $100,000. Families of ROTC cadets, like Jessica, get nothing. Manny Vega's been on a mission to change that. A Marine veteran himself, Manny's 21-year-old son, Patrick, dreamed of serving. He died 10 days into basic training from, the family says, complications of the common cold and poor medical care.
As a service-disabled veteran who carries a medal that says heroism, to have the Marine Corps fail my son, because they did, they failed my son, and to fail his family, I'm very conflicted. It's very painful. And just the coldness of the culture is what really upsetting.
Patrick died at boot camp, so the Vegas got their death gratuity, unlike Jessica. The coverage gaps moved Manny to turn grief into action, starting Save Our Service Members, pushing for policy change and supporting other families who suffered losses like his.
What was it like finding the community that Manny was able to build?
It's been life-saving.
As a Marine, you're taught to take care of your own. You never leave Don't leave anybody behind.
Democratic Congressman Salud Carbajal was taught the same and served with Vega.
This is something that you are keenly aware of from a policy perspective, but also from a personal perspective, right?
Absolutely.
He teamed up with fellow veteran Republican Michael Waltz.
He, once upon a time, also served in the ROTC program. I served in the delayed entry program. We know personally what these gaps can do in terms of not provide to the families of those service members who die in service and sacrifice, what it does to their families.
We're facing a recruiting crisis, as we're facing a retention crisis. If families find out that they're not covered, oh, wait a minute, my son or daughter is about to go jump out of planes, but they don't get the types of benefits that every other military member does.
The lawmakers' bill, included in an annual national defense package that's not yet passed Congress, would partly correct the oversight, authorizing payment of a death gratuity and providing casualty assistance to families of ROTC cadets that die in sanctioned training events.
What does it feel like knowing that changes are coming, hopefully?
I feel like she didn't die in vain if it helps somebody else.
What's it going to feel like to get to call Manny and say, we got this done?
It's going to be very meaningful to me.
I'm so grateful to those families for sharing those stories, all in the name of policy change for the better. Here in Congress, the push is ongoing to have broader benefits applied to a wider group of military service members who are lost in the line of duty, to make sure their families have access to those benefits. The goal right now is to do it in this National Defense Authorization Package, but both lawmakers involved in this fight right now say to them it underscores the need to have more veterans serving in this body. Back to you.
Ali Vitale, incredible reporting. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, he calls it the highest honor. We'll introduce you to an Army bugler set to perform the tribute of a lifetime for thousands of America's bravest soldiers. You're watching Morning News Now. Welcome back. One of the most famous homes in movie history is on the market. You're looking at it. Kevin McAllister's house from Home Alone. It's up for sale for the first time in 12 years. The 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom home in the Chicago suburb of Winnetka is going for more than $5 million. Look at it. It's beautiful. Don't expect, though, the interior to look anything like the movie. Look at this. It's recently been transformed. Even the basement now has a whole light-filled suite instead of that creepy boiler. The realtor shared a video of the house on Instagram, calling it a piece of American history. Pretty neat. Well, finally this hour, we end on a positive note to remember and mark Memorial Day. One Army bugler will give the performance of a lifetime as he honors those who gave the ultimate sacrifice nearly 80 years ago on D-Day. Here's NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson with a preview of this special tribute for thousands of America's bravest soldiers.
The notes, somber and familiar. A musical homage heard so many times before. But for Sergeant First Class Eric Stroop of the Army Reserve 81st Readiness Division in Fort Knox, Kentucky, his performance in France next week will be extra special.
Being able to travel and honor the events that happened both leading up to and being on D-Day. As a bugler, it's the highest honor we can participate in.
This was to be the longest day.
D-Day, June 6, 1944.
The Allied invasion had begun.
When Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy. Some 2,500 Americans were killed that day. Now, 80 years on, Sergeant Stroop and the 100th Army Reserve Band will be there, standing in solidarity to honor the fallen. His call to service, a family affair, his father, stepdad, and uncle all enlisting.
I'm standing on a history of who I compare to as my heroes in a lot of instances.
A bugler nearly all his life, Sergeant Stroop's love of music brought him to this life-changing moment. He and his bandmate practicing before their journey, making sure not one note is out of tune.
You have this nagging kind of feeling that you don't want to let anybody down, especially for something as monumentous as an 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Their upcoming performances in France, more than a dozen planned, tributes to the brave souls who died that fateful day.
those soldiers, they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And if me playing 21 notes in the highest regard is the highest honor I can do, then I'm going to do it as best as I can every single time.
What a report. Our thanks to Hallie Jackson for that. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.